Yeah, like, I was gonna say you had to go quite in depth, I guess. To like, did you look at schematics? You went on site. Yeah. Like, how often did you get to that level of detail where you had to like dive into something to solve that problem, as opposed to kind of, sometimes people think as a director of facilities or maintenance, you're just staying on top of things but not really getting into the details. Like, you had to really dig into that to find out how to solve that. And how often did you have to do that?
I would say that was probably some of the biggest parts of the job because, again, maintenance care took care of a lot of the little stuff, communication, the things that were happening on a site. I didn't have to even phone my guys and say, look at what was going on. Oh, this site's, doing okay today. This site, oh, this guy's overwhelmed. He may not be phoning me because he's trying to do it himself, but I could phone him and say, hey, I noticed that we got a lot going on. Do we need to support that somehow, or do we need to do that? But when that was taken off the table, a lot of that stuff, that's when I had time. And I traveled to the sites more than probably anybody else did, because that was my ongoing thing, to support the guys. And so I could actually take some time and look at those bigger projects because, like I said, just talking on the phone is not the best support to the guys all the time. You didn't really understand, oh, why is this going to cost 30 grand all of a sudden? And you could go in and not just support them, but also support the negotiation with the contractor that's coming in to fix something and ask them, questions face to face. Like, why are you charging this for this when this is already in place? And some of the guys were great maintenance guys. I mean, all of them really were. They all had their real talents as far as that goes, but not all of them knew how to negotiate. So they're just like, I just want it fix it,
Yeah.
and they didn't have time to do those things. So I think it was a big plus to be on site, to support them that way. And I used to always say, people would say to me, well, what do you do in your position? I said, you know what? I says, if everything's going well, my biggest job is to make sure the guys are taken out for breakfast every time I go there. So, if things are going smooth, you go and you congratulate them, you talk with them, you encourage them, and you do that stuff. So being on site, whether it's you got to go there for a big negotiation or whether you go there for just encouraging them, I think it's important, and especially in a larger organization.
Yeah, you had a lot of territory to cover, right? It was like they weren't all geographically close to each other, so that was taking up a lot of your time, and somewhere on the island, so you had to get on the ferry, and that's a process in itself. So
Victoria, Vancouver, Kelowna, and then 2 sites in the interior. So yeah, it was, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed just going, and it was a joy of mine. I'd rather do that than sit around in an office all day. So yeah, it was good.